didn't do what was it, Midnight Hammer, Iran would have had a nuke in 2 weeks. And I'm just like, what? Like, I'm sorry, but that was like, come on now. Come on. Really? So you tell me if we didn't bomb Mount Fordo 2 weeks later, Iran was going to have a bomb? No. Sorry, guys. That was not going to happen. But that's how they're selling it now. And here's the crazy part. I mean, like, bro, I mean, if that's the case, then why are we so scared of this enriched uranium now then? Like, I thought you took care of it back then. So now you're telling me that what? You only put it back for like 6 months when you guys were telling us 2 to 5 years? All right.
They're perfectly reconcilable. I mean, it just seems like you haven't really been paying very much attention.
So we both depleted their ability to build a nuclear weapon last year with Operation Warhammer. And now we have to do Operation Epic Fury to stop them from building a nuclear weapon again?
To prevent them from reconstituting their program, yes.
Donald Trump said that we destroyed their ability to last year. Were they already rebuilding?
Yeah, they were set back years.
In the weaponization process?
It wasn't permanently eliminated, but they were set back years, yes.
So where is your evidence that shows that we are entering into a new weaponization process?
There isn't. I mean, they're not going to do the weaponization until they're at a point where they would be in a position to immediately break out and do it. That's why you don't let people get to 60% enriched uranium. That's why literally the IAEA was freaking out in their most recent report.
Like, should we wait until
interesting, Will, you don't.
Okay, and then hundreds of thousands of Americans could die. This is why your guys' position is so obviously facile, and you know why 25-year-olds in Los Angeles shouldn't be setting foreign policy for the United States of America. Like, obviously, you shouldn't just.
Actually, you know what? I would actually quite. Will, I've got to say, hang on. I've got to say, I would quite like a bunch of 25-year-olds to be running this Iran foreign policy right now. It would probably make more sense.
You guys lost the war of
1812, more sense than the utterly.
Man, I'm telling you this right now, bro. Look, shoot. Anybody's I'd rather send in. Shit, there's a lot of people we could send in that do a better job. Sure, you can send in me and not do a better job than the negotiators. Trust me. I'll have the enriched uranium. Shoot, man, these guys I ain't gonna care about their missiles. I'm not gonna really care about their proxies, but I'll get that uranium out. I mean, I can do that. But everything else, though, is like outside of our interests. So, hey, you can send me in there and I get a pretty good deal going. Sure, we might even be having economic relations with Iran one day. But to be quite honest with you, the way it's going right now, bro, obviously these people don't want to work with Iran. They want to destabilize Iran. They want to kick out the regime. They don't want to work with Iran. They don't want to ceasefire with Iran. That's just a sad reality of it. So I know, guys like, guys on the right are going to sit here and fake like they want to ceasefire, but let's be real. They want to go back to kinetic strikes and see things blow up again. And then they're going to sadly come to the realization that, we can do this all day. And it's not going to make a difference now, but you can still say the border's doing all right.
Hashtag orcs. I believe, Mason, you want to say something about that?
Yeah, I mean, whatever Will's going to try to say is like this abstract idea that the economy is great. He's probably going to say like the stock market's at all-time highs, even though that's been increasing.
Stock market's abstract? What are you talking about?
No, well, when you're talking about a metric that probably applies to 20%
it's a mythical being, like your mythical genocide in Gaza.
When you're talking about the stock market that applies to probably 20%.
Wow, mythical genocide in Gaza. You know what kills me about that? So when you got genocide scholars who've been studying, genocides longer than this guy's probably been alive, and they come to the conclusion that a genocide's going on, and then when you got the ICC and they conclude that a genocide's going on, I mean, bro, you got two organizations that did the investigation that said that, Israel's committing a genocide. So this is where we kind of look at you guys like, all right, so who can tell y'all any different then? Because it sounds like, bro, you guys are never going to accept the fact that what you guys are doing in Gaza is basically a genocide, especially when you got scholars and courts confirming it. So I'm sorry, but two bigger establishments already confirmed this. So there really is no debate. And you can't really say it's mythical when, like I said, we got scholars and courts confirming it.
20% Americans, rent is continuing to skyrocket. People are seeing increases at the grocery store, or their gas prices are skyrocketing because of this bullshit foreign policy from the Trump administration. These aren't really good economic metrics to consumer dependent. I mean, the fact that most Americans feel like the economy is leaving them shows that Donald Trump lied on every variable.
Who's really interested in metrics? Now you're just talking about how people feel. Yeah. You guys are great at this, man. I'll do this all day.
Oh
my God. Violent crime is down 10% nationwide. Murders are down 20%. Crossings at the border are down 95%. It's one of, the stock market's up 20%. Immigration crime, the economy, the administration is killing it. In places where federal resources have surged, it's down 35%.
Explain to me what policies Donald Trump implemented to get these metrics.
Yeah, he imposed a massive new increase in federal resources surging to impose law and order. He ended the ridiculous woke nonsense at the FBI.
Law and order are you talking
surged
about?
federal resources and put the National Guard on the ground in D.C. That made the whole city
so funny how you guys talk
safer.
about law and order.
Massively liberated energy production in the United States. Massive deregulatory.
Well, let me ask you one question: Does the average American feel better off now?
Will doesn't care. He said he doesn't give a shit about what Americans feel.
I don't know, but we're talking about metrics.
Donald Trump
suddenly,
he said, I don't care if gas prices are going higher.
What could be?
And then here's the thing, though. When you're talking about how Americans feel in this, we're talking about the affordability problems of Americans, not the crime, not the border. Yeah, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the affordability. And I mean, look, we get it. Crime is important. I mean, I'm glad it's down, but you also campaign on making things more unaffordable. I mean, more affordable for Americans. And right now, things are going in the opposite direction. So, yeah, when we talk about how Americans feel, Americans feel like they kind of been left behind, kind of been betrayed. So, yeah. I mean, except for those who just blindly follow Trump. I mean, they're on it until, they finally crash out.
My point would be President Trump campaigned to keep America out of pointless wars in the Middle East and campaigned to raise living standards and reduce inflation for the average American. Right. So my question is, he's now waged the biggest possible war in the Middle East, which is turning into an increasingly pointless war. And at the same time, the financial situation, economic situation of the average American has been damaged by it. It's just inarguable, isn't it?
No, I don't think so, actually. I mean, with the stock market up 20%, I think in general, the overall economy is booming. You're seeing a lot.
Like I said, bro, it's like you guys sound like so out of touch when you sit there and say, well, the millionaires and the billionaires are making money. So, everything's all good. But I know inflation is up. So basically, your average American lost more buying power, but your average millionaire and billionaire assets went up. I know that's tough. I know, wages aren't outpacing inflation. Actually, inflation is outpacing wages. But look, you got to understand, guys, look at the stock market. Don't worry about what you're seeing at the pump. Don't worry about what you're seeing at the grocery store. Look at the stock market, man. People are making money. It may not be you, but you can at least be happy for somebody else, right? Right. I know it's bullshit, but that's what they're hitting us with.
Of economic progress. And I mean, honestly, you're saying people are like, oil prices have skyrocketed. Here's a statistic for you. Today, if you actually look at the oil spot price, $82 a barrel. You know what it was under the last 2 years, the Biden administration, on average, $77 a barrel. And that's with a war in the Strait of Hormuz, obviously massively disrupting the oil supply. President Trump's doing a lot of things in order to make up for that. The brilliant stroke of genius in Venezuela that flipped an adversary to an ally overnight. The general liberation of our overall energy supply. Also, I don't know why these guys are so upset about energy prices being higher. Aren't they all environmentalists? Aren't you all global warming freaks?
Let me bring in Hunter. I want to bring in Hunter. I want to bring in Hunter Dunn now. Hunter, you've been very patient.
You know what? That's fair to say, because I'm not going to lie, though. Because the green energy guys is like, in their pursuit to go towards green energy, they make up making energy costs like gas and your overall electric bill, or energy costs more expensive. Like green energy, trust me, renewable energy, it has a ways to go. It can be something that really takes us into the next, level in the Carnegie scale. But the problem is, though, we're not doing it right. We're kind of, putting it on the backs of, let's use Europe for an example. In their whole green initiative. I mean, they're doing it, but they're putting it on the backs of their people by higher gas prices, by higher gas bills. They're really paying a tax to fund this renewable energy initiative. And that's not how it should be, but it's the way it's working out over there for some reason. It's kind of the way it's working out here too. Like I said, it's not really doing much, but being an extra expense. And it gives energy, but I mean, bro, our primary use of energy is still like non-renewables. So Like I said, I get his argument, but that's just because they're like the way they're pushing renewable energy is just honestly corrupt.
Now, you attacked Rubin's claim that the modern left cares more about ideology than reality by countering with a claim Donald Trump is attacking the fundamental fabric that makes America America in regard to immigration. Let's take a listen. Come to you, Hunter. Let's get Will to trumpet up a better defense.
I have a hard time understanding how Chinese birth tourism is integral to the fundamental fabric of America. That's a bizarre claim. Go ahead and try and defend it.
Okay, Hunter?
I'm going to go with the great conservative Ronald Reagan and give the actual full quote, which I wasn't able to give during the debate. You can go to live in France, but you cannot become a Frenchman. You can go to live in Germany or Turkey or Japan, but you cannot become a German, a Turk, or a Japanese. But anyone from any corner of the earth can come to live in America and become an American, right? What makes America great, what sets it apart from every other first world country is that we want people to come here to improve America. That's why we were leading in
you know, that's that mindset that's kind of fucking us up now. That's the thing is we were leading in manufacturing. We was leading in cutting edge technology before the immigrants. So can we stop acting like, oh, we didn't start really breaking into technology until the immigrants got here? No, that's not true. I mean, they got here and helped, and thank you. But let's not sit here and act like we'd have just been sitting here throwing sticks and stones without them. And that's the thing. I do hate the dependency that they try to put on immigrants. Like, oh, we need them over here. Nigga, no. We need American scholars. We need each other. Like, we don't need to just bring in more immigrants. Really, we need to cut off immigration because we got enough people here already. We've already made this a melting pot. And I'm okay with that. But, nigga, what else do you want? Like, dog, we got enough Indians. I'm going to stay saying it. We got enough Indians. We got enough Asians. We got enough blacks, whites. Like, we got every flavor here in the United States. Why the fuck do we need to bring in more? What? Do we not already have enough smart, like, Africans, Chinese, and Arabs and Indians? I mean, do we not have enough already? Did you not bring over 85,000 last year? The fuck we need more for? Like, at a certain point, like, I do hate that argument of, oh, they help us in cutting edge. Not really. We've been those guys forever. And here's the thing. We're not rushing to go to their colleges. They're rushing to come to ours. What does that tell you? That we've been the leader in education and technology for a while now. They've just picked it up. And like I said, how did they do it? By coming to us. We don't go to India. We don't go to China. We don't go to Korea to go to school. No, we don't. They come here. Why? Because we're the ones with all the knowledge here. So it kills me how it's like, are we just throwing away our American pride and just giving it to the foreigners? I mean, damn. If that's the case, like I said, take your kid out of school right now and just leave it to the foreigners. Don't send your kid to college. I don't know why you're wasting his time and money and your money. Leave it to the foreigners if that's what you believe.
Innovation statistics on most of them until Trump took office a second time and then did everything he could to not try to just shut down undocumented immigration, but also shut down legal immigration. That's why he's trying to send back 500,000 people who came here illegally by removing temporary protected status, right? He claimed he's going after the worst of the worst, but he's not going after the worst of the worst.
Yeah, that, like, the temporary part, dog, is kind of where you're getting caught up at. Because Biden, he kind of effed those guys up with the temporary protective status. Because if you actually read it, it says that the president can revoke it at any time. No ifs, ands, or buts, bro. So I don't know why Biden did it like that. Probably because he expected himself to win again so he can keep it going. But I'm pretty sure the Dem didn't expect to lose and leave the temporary protective status of those immigrants in the hands of Donald Trump. I'm pretty sure that was not the plan. But since it happened, hey, this is what it is. Sorry, bro. It just worked out like
What did Donald Trump run on? Did he run on removing the worst of the worst, or did he run on people who are working hard? Actually, no, this is a real question, right? You're defending.
No, both. He ran on both. It doesn't matter. If you're here undocumented, we want you all gone. I mean, even the undocumented are taking up jobs that our youth could be working or that other Americans could be working. So, no, all of them gotta go. The bad ones and the good ones. But sadly, we can only get the bad ones because the good ones are being protected by corporate interest. And once again, here are the Dems shaking their ass in a circle for the corporate elites.
You seem to struggle with this concept.
Needs to defend its own supremacy.
They don't have.
When was it supposed to end? Was it supposed to end? Was it supposed to end in the first month of Trump's presidency? Yes or no? Will, when was it supposed to end?
I didn't hear your question.
Please don't all talk at once. We can't hear any of you if you do.
This is a question for Will.
Let Hunter ask Will the question.
When was temporary practice supposed to end?
when the immediate disaster in the area that led to the granting of temporary status obviated. Right. And so
yeah, that, and it could also be, terminated at the will of the president. So there's that as well. So there's two, is whenever the situation in Haiti chill out, because a lot of them came from Haiti, and Haiti is wild right now. But let's say whenever the situation in Haiti stables out and the government they actually get a government, all right, cool, TPS ends. Or the president just comes through and just says, man, F what y'all talking about, man, y'all can just go home. And he can end it there too. One's a bit more cut, but hey, it's still legal.
It's like Venezuela, obviously temporary protected status should be over.
Who invaded Venezuela and kidnapped the president again? Who kidnapped Venezuela's president?
Oh, you mean the one that flipped an adversarial nation into an ally and was the greatest stroke of military strategy this century? Yeah, that would be President Donald Trump, who turned Venezuela from an adversary to an ally.
Oh, come on.
Let's be real though. Venezuela was begging on their knees for us not to do that to them. They were willing to give us everything in the world for us not to do that, but we did it anyway. So we can't really sit there and say they was being defiant. I mean, bro, they were literally saying, "Look, Trump, no peace, no war, no, like Trump, no war, no peace, please, Trump, let's work together. I just want to make peace." It's like, yo, we had Maduro out there yelling on stage, "No war, nothing but peace," and we still took that guy over. Why? Because we didn't trust his leadership. But it is what it is. I'm be real with you. It worked out for the best. Like we like the leadership now listens to us. The regime now listens to us. They're giving up their oil, and they're now an ally by force.
You guys seem to struggle with this one. I know he's like your friend. You were hoping for socialists to win in Venezuela because you're all a bunch of communists. But here on the patriotic side,
Trump loves the authoritarian regime in Venezuela because there's his buddies, right? He loves the authoritarian regime in El Salvador that's beating up American citizens.
He loved the guy he just deposed. What are you talking about? You've seen that
genocide in Gaza. He loves authoritarians.
Genocide in Gaza. What did you take hallucinogenics before you came on tonight? It's 9 a.m. It's a little early down in Los Angeles, as far as I can tell. Genocide in Gaza. What are you talking about?
The forced displacement of Gazans, right? A guy who just won in New Jersey 12.
Okay, here's a question for you. Did Britain commit genocide
and actually help people, treated the people?
Simple question. Whoa. Simple question. Did Britain commit genocide in Germany in the air campaign they conducted in World War II?
No, but here's the thing, though. The British weren't out there pretty much saying how they wanted to eradicate all of Germany. They weren't out there expressing a disdain for those people. It was just war. It was damn near business is business. The problem with the Israelis and their gut and with Benjamin Netanyahu and his cabinet is they've called them the Amulek. They said no Palestinians are innocent. They said they're all terrorists. They all need to go, and they wouldn't mind if they all disappeared. So do you understand? Like, bro, it's not just the action; it's the language used while you're conducting the action. If they'd have just shut the fuck up and just carried out their military action, then no, it's not a genocide. But since they have genocidal language on top of their military action, that's actually what's making it a genocide. It's the language used by the politicians. So we'll make it an Iranian genocide. Let's say this. If we was to go out and commit an Iranian genocide, bro, if we was to go out there and bomb like 20, 30,000 Iranians in an area, and we were just going like, oh yeah, those Iranians are demons. They're all evil Islamists. They're all less than human. That's committing a genocide right there. Like, think about it. We're pretty much saying they're less than human. We're using genocidal language, and we're committing military action while talking like that. You see the problem? But if we just shut the fuck up and just do it and nobody say nothing, even if you think it, as long as you don't say it, go out there and say it, it's not really a genocide. It's just military action, brutal military action, but not a genocide. Like I said, it's literally the language that makes all the difference. Actually, it's kind of funny.
Was Britain targeting Germans?
Yes, Britain was targeting Germans. Have you heard of Operation?
No. Genocide's not funny, but of course, the language difference, the whole language aspect of it is kind of funny. It's like, how you got to say it before it's actually a genocide, or you actually got to have genocidal language while committing military action for it to be a genocide.
35,000 German civilians in a week in Hamburg.
Britain targeting Germans for the sake of them being Germans?
Thank you.
Or were they actually targeting the regime?
Thank you. They attacked them not for being German. They didn't want to go up there. They weren't going out there saying destroy all those disgusting Germans. They're all Nazis. They all gotta go. They were doing whatever they can to take out the Nazis. That's the difference. Britain didn't do it with the intention to take out all Germans. Israel's doing it with the intention to take out all Palestinians. And it's either by killing them or displacing them.
Israel wasn't targeting Gazans for the sake of being Gazans. They were targeting them because Hamas had kidnapped hundreds of people and was holding them underground.
Surrounded their borders. Maybe that's a little bit different than a people that have been subjugated to apartheid for the past 75 years.
Totally irrelevant. Now you're missing. You're completely dodging the question.
I mean, it's kind of the reason why October 7th happened. It's kind of the reason why you guys have been dealing with Hamas and, you know, the Palestinians for a while because of your oppression of them. So that it is pretty relevant to the to the situation at hand, especially if Israel ever wants to have peace with them. I mean, and you might want to address that. But if not, you have two things. I mean, you can just, I don't know, two-state solution, or if you don't want to address it at all, you can kill them all. I mean, I wouldn't suggest it. I would go for the two-state or one-state solution, but apparently y'all choosing the kill them all option.
Did England commit genocide by killing 35,000 German civilians in a week?
This is the intellectual titan you brought to talk to us. Somebody who can't even acknowledge basic reality.
You can't even answer a straight question. Yes or no?
He did. Britain wasn't going like, bro, about to kill all those evil Germans. They wasn't using genocidal language. That's the difference.
What's the question?
The question is, did Britain commit genocide in Germany?
Britain was not targeting Germans because of their ethnicity. Britain was targeting a country that had its own military that was invading borders.
Like, if they wanted to kill every last Gazan, they could have. They moved Gazans around.
The genocide
humanitarian
fast.
So you're just like, no, your metric is that they're bad at the genocide. You're honestly, the genocide isn't happening because they're bad at it.
Before coming on today, and that's why, you know.
So if you're setting the boundary. If you're saying the boundary at having to kill every single person of an ethnic group for it to be a genocide, then no genocide has ever been committed.
I said that it would have been very, very
simple. That was your argument.
Isn't the point? Isn't the point?
They wanted to.
Isn't the point, Will?
And they, then there's the term of, the definition of genocide, which is like the taking out of a people or extermination of a people in whole or in part. So it doesn't mean that you're taking out all of them. I mean, you could, like I said, you could take out a large part of them and just have that genocidal language. That's all it takes, is just you having a complete disdain for people and willing to take out a large number of them because you hate them. That's a genocide. And like when you're willing to get systematic about it, she gets a little crazy. But yeah, you can definitely consider what's happening in Gaza a genocide just because of the language of BB and his cabinet members.
Well, isn't the point? Surely the main.
How many hospitals?
Hang on.
Do you know how many hospitals are in the
Nobody this bullshit anymore.
Time out. Isn't the point, Will, that after World War II,
and we're in power
after World War II, whatever people think about the point you've raised, and there are passionate views either way, after World War II, the Geneva Convention was set up specifically to prevent people targeting civilians in the way that they were targeted during World War II. And it's a convention that everyone signed up to.
Right, but nobody would accuse your hero, Winston Churchill, of genocide.
And the argument against what has happened in Gaza is that it breaches the Geneva Convention. That's the argument.
Yeah, that argument is wrong.
Can I respond,
obviously.
Piers?
Yeah, you can.
So in the 1990s, the Srebrenica massacre, part of the Bosnian War, was ruled to be an act of genocide by the ICJ. Only 8,000 Bosniak men and boys were killed. Another several thousand women and children were forcibly displaced. That's exactly what is happening in Gaza. Murder under the laws of war to facilitate.
Really, they rounded up 8,000 people and killed them all in cold blood.
So Netanyahu,
or was that actually October 7th?
Excuse me. I'm still talking.
No. I'm not going to let you do this.
Actually, the civilian to combatant ratio. The civilian to combatant ratio in Gaza is much worse than what happened on October 7th.
Not the massacre.
But you're.
I mean, what do you guys think you're doing by bombing hospitals and schools? And here's the thing: you're saying, "Oh, well, human shields." All right, well, what if Hamas came over and said that the IDF was using, the Israelis as human shields? Like, how wild would that be? So yeah, I'm sorry. He's not willing to sit there and accept that. You guys committed October 7th probably like 70 times. There's over 70,000 people that's been killed in Gaza, and most likely more because they're still digging up people out of the rubble. So to sit there and I'm sorry, but to sit there and that's gonna sound wild, but to sit there and harp on about 1,500 people who 800 of them were fair game because they were combatants is a bit wild. to compare to about what 70,000 people with an 8-to-1 civilian and militant kill ratio. So for every 8 civilians, that's one Hamas member they take out. That's a problem. And y'all got 70,000 people that are over, well, actually more than that, but let's just say over 70,000 people that you guys have taken out and leveled 70% of Gaza. So really, like, was that really necessary? No, it wasn't.
Just talking about blanket targeting of civilians, but let me explain. Benjamin Netanyahu last year in testimony,
bro, they bombed civilian tents. No Hamas, no nothing. They just were bombing where the Palestinians were living at, since their homes were pretty much blown to bits in these little tents, and they would bomb those. So what's your excuse there?
Under the Foreign Affairs Committee said, we are deliberately destroying civilian infrastructure. We're destroying more and more houses. Our only issue right now is finding a nation to accept, is finding a nation to accept the Gaza population.
You guys literally don't know.
In fact,
anything.
just this, excuse me, I will let you speak.
That's why they had to blow them up.
Hamas, I will let you speak.
They built all their military.
So they booby trapped 70% of Gaza. So you have to level, because, like, I don't know, businesses, civilian housing, civilian infrastructure, banks, all that was booby trapped by Hamas, bro. Like, really, bro? You believe that? Okay, all right.
Let you speak as soon as you allow me. As soon as you allow.
The truth is that Israel. The truth is that Israel has also destroyed about 75% of Gaza.
Thank you.
So the idea it was only targeting places where.
Have you seen Berlin?
And let me just say
again, but you can't bring everything back to World War II, because what happened after World War II? The Geneva Conventions. We realized that a lot of atrocities was committed in World War II. That's why we did the Geneva Conventions. That's why came up with the concept of international war and war crimes, so this would never happen. So when you guys bring up World War II, that's even a bigger point to condemn you.
Again, Will, the Geneva Convention was set up to stop mass civilian deaths of this kind.
Right, but they're calling this a genocide, which is harkening back to pre-Geneva Conventions and what Hitler did during World War II.
I haven't called it a genocide, but I would say it constitutes.
I mean, yeah, the same way Hitler used genocidal language towards Jews. Yeah, I mean, Bibi's using genocidal language towards Arabs and Palestinians. Well, basically Arabs all together. Let me be real with you. He's across the board with it. But yeah, he was using genocidal language towards the Palestinians. Ben Gvir was, which is their foreign relation guy. Their finance minister was using genocidal language. So, and they're the ones committing this atrocity in Gaza. And like I said, even Piers is saying like 75% of Gaza leveled. Like, bro, 75% of Gaza is not military targets. Like, what are you talking about? And like, you can't substantiate that. You can't prove that. Well, you can't prove it no more. You done leveled it.
Right? The goal
Wait a minute. I would say it constitutes ethnic cleansing. Very hard to dispute. It's not ethnic cleansing.
Well, I think that's
when you
absurd.
Hear Smodrich and Ben Gvir have been very clear. They want to get all the Palestinians out of Gaza and get them all out of the West Bank. That's ethnic cleansing.
I mean, that's what Hamas is trying to do in reverse.
I mean, bro, Israel's ethnically cleansing the Lebanese people right now. And they did it. And here's the thing. If you don't even want to say that, oh, they're committing a genocide, all right, cool. But at least you have to admit to ethnic cleansing. I'm sorry, but you got to at least admit to ethnic cleansing. Like, they're getting them up through. All right. So you, even if you don't want to admit to a genocide, you at least got to be reasonable and admit that they're ethnically cleansing them.
And first off, they're not Netanyahu. They're
trying to do in
the government.
I do think Hamas is genocidal.
Is Hamas funded by the one of the lead ministers in the Israeli government said about Palestinians, those are animals. They have no right to exist. I'm not debating the way it will happen, but they need to be exterminated. Where the hell did he get that from? Joseph Goebbels'
like cooler heads.
He said that they have no right to exist, that they are animals.
All right, let me ask a question.
For the mass slaughter of Palestinians.
All right, let me ask a question.
That is a leader
and then it didn't happen.
in the Israeli government.
Let me ask a question of
US citizens.
Let me ask a question of Will to round up things with him. Then I'm going to ask the other three guys a question about Will. So Polymarket say the likelihood of any peace deal being signed before the end of July is now at 38%, the lowest it's been in weeks, which suggests there's no sign of its ending soon. At what point do you start getting a bit twitchy, Will, about the way this is all going?
Oh, I would say I'm already twitchy.